Hey everybody, welcome back to another video log. I know it's been a couple of days since I did my last one. Unfortunately, I've just had some things going on that, have kind of taken precedence in my personal life. Not me particular, but just, unfortunately I've had to focus my efforts there. But I wanted to get back into the swing of things. This is going to be the first video where I talk about some dreams that are, well, bizarre dreams that I've had over the course of my life. This one in particular was one I had a lot as a kid. I just remember having this dream several times. Before I get to that, I had a weird dream last night. I don't know where that came from, but I was back in high school, but I wasn't in my high school. It was just a high schooler, and it was graduation day. We had the gowns and the goofy hats and everything. And I remember that, I had a girlfriend in this dream, nobody I've ever seen before, but, it was kind of stuck to my arm pretty much the whole time. There was an Asian girl that I had been friends with, I guess, for a couple of years. And I guess she had feelings for me or something. She was kind of jealous. So the first moment that, this whoever this girlfriend was in my dream walks away, she kind of took me by the arm and we were walking around the school and whatnot. And she kind of gave me a hug. And I just remember sitting on the stairs and her telling me that I couldn't leave because she had been doing something in science class and she was now radioactive. And by hugging me, I was now radioactive, and that we were kind of stuck together. So I thought that was kind of weird. That's like the only thing I can remember from the dream. But anyway, that's not what the one I'm talking about. So this one particular dream, like I said, I had this several times as a kid. Really young, I'm saying. It just kind of creeped me out. I've written about this in the past, and I have copyrighted it, so nobody try to steal my story. Okay. Anyway, so um, let me give you a quick background information that leads into this dream. Where I grew up in Port Washington, New York, I lived on a street called Preston Street, bottom of a hill. When you got out of my driveway, to the left was a little short part of the street that went to a dead end. When you went down to the right, very narrow street that eventually would go down a hill and kind of curve onto another street, which for the life of me I can't remember the name of. But anyway, so in this dream, I was like about a 4 year old kid, and I just remember being, awake in bed, not being able to sleep. I get out of bed, and I'm kind of looking around the house. My grandparents aren't there. My parents aren't there. I had my little PJs on with the little feet in them, and I was, carrying my teddy bear, and I just couldn't find anybody. Suddenly, I kind of get this sensation of something. I don't remember if there was a voice, but something beckons me out into the street. So I walk out of my house, and I'm out in the street, and I look down to the right, which is normally this narrow little street. But I noticed that there's like a second street to next to it, like, but lower and darker. So I thought that was kind of weird. So I kind of get the feeling that something is calling me down there. So I start walking down there, and there's a ladder. So I, kind of climb down this ladder, and I end up in this landing, and it's kind of like foggy, like overcast, like I really can't see very well. But there's a metal gate in front of me, so I open it, and it makes that like creaking sound, and I walk in there, and suddenly I'm like in just a really creepy cemetery. So I know I have to get to the other side, So I'm walking through the cemetery, and I just remember of having this sensation of like being watched, like somebody's watching me. Don't see anybody, but just have that sensation that I'm being watched. So I get to the other side of the cemetery, kind of giving me the chills. Not only the temperature being cold and foggy, but just creeped out. I'm a little 4 year old kid here. Um, so I get to that, to the other side of the cemetery, and then suddenly I'm back on that lower street. And as I'm walking, there's two elevator doors like in the wall on the left side of the street. There was like a brick wall, which in reality, to the right of where I grew up, going down that narrow street, there was a brick wall, kind of separating the backyards of the upper houses from the street above us. Anyway, so here I am walking down this little second street, and there's a brick wall, and it has two elevator doors. So I'm trying to decide which door do I want to go. So I hit the button for the first door, get inside, the door closes, and it starts to drop like super, super fast, like just bottoms out. And of course, I'm freaking out because the elevator's dropping like 100 miles an hour. But the lower it goes, the hotter it's getting. And I mean, the heat is getting like intense. Finally, it just like boom hits the bottom. Rattles whatever, and the door ping. The little doorbell thing opens, and in front of me, it's all like fire and brimstone and burning. And I realize, oh crap, I'm in hell. And like off in the distance, I just see this silhouette, like this outline, this figure. The animal legs, the tail, the horn. He's facing the other way, but it's pretty obvious who it is. And he turns around and fangs, burnt skin, and it's the devil. So he turns around and he like charges at the elevator. So I'm freaking out. I get back in the elevator. I like jump up, hit the button, and I'm barely able to hit the button to where the door closes in time, like just as he's about to reach out and grab me. So the elevator takes me back up to the street. I get out. I'm like shaking. By this time, I guess I dropped my teddy bear in hell or something. So I'm not gonna find out where that second door goes. I just keep walking. Suddenly as I'm walking, it's getting darker and darker and darker, and then it's almost like one of those old Looney Tune cartoons. Like there's like it goes completely black, and you just see like the little eyeballs. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I keep walking, and I just kind of see my little eyeballs walking. The further I walk, it starts to get a little bit brighter, and then I realize everything has changed into a two-dimensional plane, and I'm on a chalkboard. I'm like a stick figure chalk character on a chalkboard. I've noticed with my dreams, the physics are always off in them. Like even the one I had last night with the high school, like the physics are off. Like I don't know how to describe it any other way than that. The physics are off. Like just proportions, gravity, just building layouts. Everything is super super weird. Anyway, so I'm walking a little further along, and then it brightens up a little bit. Like the further I go, the brighter it gets. But I'm still basically this little 4-year-old chalk figure walking on the world, which is now a two-dimensional chalkboard. And then I hear like a growl behind me. All of a sudden, this big bear. Of course, he's drawn in chalk, but he starts running at me full speed. So I take off running, and I'm hauling ass as best I can for a 4-year-old in PJs with the little with the little feet on them and stuff. So I'm running as fast as I can, but slowly but surely this bear is catching up to me. So way off in the distance, I see like a little circle of light. So I'm like, oh, if I can make it to that, maybe I'll be safe. So I run, I haul ass, I dive like Superman into this ball of light, and all of a sudden I land like on this wooden platform in the middle of the ocean, and there's I don't know, maybe 10, 15 by 15 wide, whatever. There's nothing else around. I'm just on this wooden platform in the middle of the ocean. The bear is gone, thank God. But now I'm like, okay, well, there's no land in sight. There's no other walkway. Like I'm just stranded on this little thing. Suddenly, like a pathway opens, like a wooden pathway kind of forms itself in front of me. It's really foggy, but I realize I'm supposed to walk this way, so I start walking this way. And the further I walk, the more the fog starts to dissipate, and I see this kind of old, decrepit building in front of me. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going in here. So I walk in, and it's kind of like the building from the movie The Shining, like that, like Overlook Hotel kind of thing. So as I walk in, there's like a creepy looking bellboy, I guess you call it, just standing right up there at the desk. He's not moving. He's completely still. He's got like a red coat and like this, old red hat that they would have worn back in the day. And he's just completely still. But wherever I move, he's following me with his eyes. So I, go to the left to like the big ballroom, and it's, lights are on, brightly lit, bright colored, but not a soul in there. And then I go to the right, and it's like this just dark, dingy, gray. Well, not even gray, but just like sitting area. This huge sitting area, but of course nobody's there. So I'm like, okay, what the heck am I gonna do here? So I go up to the bellboy, and he's like, he kind of leans forward a little bit, just creepy look on his face. He's like, "May I help you?" And I'm like, "Where am I?" And he's like, "Oh, of course, you're at the hotel on the edge of forever." So I'm like, "The hotel on the edge of forever? What?" I was like, "Is this heaven?" And then he gets this sinister, like Joker look on his face, with the like crazy smile, and like blood starts dripping down his face, and he's like, "No, this is most definitely not heaven. Welcome to hell." And then the whole place kind of like around me starts to catch on fire, and everything's burning, and just gets even worse condition. And he slowly kind of morphs into the devil, and of course he jumps over the counter, and he's hauling ass, running at me again. So I turn around and I run back out the front door of the hotel on the edge of forever, which is conveniently what I call this dream. That's just what sticks with me most. Run back up the platform, and I'm kind of like, okay, I'm gonna get to the end. There's not gonna be anywhere to go. What am I gonna do? He's hot on my tail again. Well, anyway, as I approach the platform that I had been on before, now suddenly there's a ladder. So kind of similar to the first ladder I saw when I entered the street, So I get on there and I'm just climbing for my life, and he's right behind me. He's like one or two rings behind me, and I get up to the top, and I just, with all my might, I manage to cover the manhole cover. And I kind of like I sit there for a minute, and then I'm just like completely in a state of shock, scared shitless. So I get up and I start kind of walking back to my left, and I realize I'm on the actual street, like the real street that's there when I grew up. And I kind of like turn and look around, and like that whole second street just kind of fades away and disappears. And I'm like, what in the holy hell? So I make my way, back to my house, and I just still have this feeling that something's behind me, something's watching me, but I'm looking all around, I don't see anything. Get back in my house, um, and I get back in bed, and then I try to like pull the covers over my face, and I just remember that I hear, "I'll be waiting for you, boy," and I wake up like in terror. I mean, I just shot out of bed, and I'm screaming. And I remember that my grandmother came in there, and she was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" She was like the first one to get in there, and check on me, and I just tell her basically, I had a nightmare, and she's calming me down. She's assuring me everything's gonna be okay. And my grandfather even came upstairs to check on me. I'm sure my parents had gotten up by that time, but. Like I said, I had that dream several times as a kid, as a young child. It kind of stopped maybe when I was around, I don't know, 7, 8 years old, but I distinctly remember having that dream several times. There was another dream I had. I don't remember very vividly like I do with this one, but I was just out in the woods, and it was like a Friday the 13th kind of thing. Like somebody was trying to kill me with an axe. Like I was with like a couple of people I knew from school. We were kind of like, I don't know, not like Evil Dead, but like in a cabin kind of thing out there in the woods. But anyway, that's one that this is a little shorter video. I just kind of wanted to share that just because I had the weird dream last night, and with everything going on the last couple of days, I haven't had a lot of the creative juices flowing that I normally would. I've had to dedicate a lot of time and effort into other things. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys. Like I said, this is the first in a series of several vlogs that I'll do, about these crazy dreams that I've had during my lifetime. This is one of the only ones that was a recurring one, so I wanted to kind of share this one first because it's probably one of the most vivid memories I have of a dream. Most of the time you wake up when you have a dream, it's gone. If I have a crazy dream, I try with my best effort as soon as I wake up to like remember everything quickly, like kind of jot it down so I don't forget about it. I don't know if I'd call this one a nightmare. I mean, yeah, I was scared, but I was also like 4 or 5 years old, so I mean, anything scares you at that time. But anyway, that was the first video in the Dream series, The Hotel on the Edge of Forever. Like I said, I have the story copyrighted, so nobody tried to take it from me. If you like this video and you like my other videos, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave me a comment in the section below. I'd love to hear from you guys. I hope you guys are enjoying the videos as much as I'm enjoying making them, and we will see you next time.